Imagine waking up one day and realizing you've spent years working hard. But your bank account hasn't really changed. Now imagine someone handing you just 5 books that could completely change how you think about money, saving, and investing. Here's the surprising part. Almost every millionaire has one thing in common. They never stop learning about money. The books in this video have influenced millions of people around the world. They won't promise overnight riches, but they will teach you something far more valuable: how to build wealth that lasts. Stay until the end, because my #1 recommendation contains one lesson that could save you thousands, or even hundreds of thousands, over your lifetime. Let's get started. Book number 5, The Richest Man in Babylon. Let's start with a book that has stood the test of time. The Richest Man in Babylon was first published nearly 100 years ago, yet the financial principles inside are just as relevant today as they were back then. Instead of giving complicated financial advice, George Clason teaches wealth building through simple stories set in ancient Babylon. The biggest lesson from this book is one sentence: pay yourself first. Think about how most people handle their paycheck. They pay rent, bills, groceries, subscriptions, and maybe buy a few things they want. At the end of the month, if there's anything left, they save it. The problem is, there's usually nothing left. This book flips that idea completely. The moment you get paid, save at least 10% before spending anything else. Treat your savings like it's a bill you owe yourself. The book also teaches that your savings shouldn't just sit in a bank forever. Once you've built an emergency fund, you should put your money to work by investing it wisely, allowing it to earn more money over time. The lesson is simple but powerful. Wealth isn't built by how much you earn. It's built by how much you keep and grow. Takeaway: before your next payday, set up an automatic transfer so saving becomes a habit instead of a decision. Book number 4, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. This is probably one of the most famous personal finance books ever written. Robert Kiyosaki tells the story of growing up with 2 father figures. One believed the key to success was getting a secure job and working hard. The other believed true wealth came from owning assets that generated income. Whether every story in the book is literal or not, the lessons have inspired millions of readers to think differently about money. The biggest lesson is this: know the difference between assets and liabilities. An asset puts money into your pocket. A liability takes money out of it. Many people buy expensive cars, gadgets, or luxury items believing they're getting richer because they look successful. In reality, these purchases often create ongoing costs instead of generating income. Instead, Kiyosaki encourages buying things like businesses, shares, rental properties, or other investments that can produce cash flow over time. The book also stresses the importance of financial education. Schools teach us many valuable subjects, but very few teach us how money actually works. That's why reading, learning, and improving your financial knowledge is one of the best investments you can make. Takeaway: before buying something expensive, ask yourself one question: will this make me money, or will it cost me money? Book number 3, The Simple Path to Wealth. If investing feels confusing, this book is like having a calm friend explain everything in plain English. J.L. Collins wrote it to help his daughter understand money, and that's exactly why so many people love it. One of the biggest mistakes new investors make is believing they need to predict the stock market or find the next big winning stock. This book argues that you don't. Instead of constantly buying and selling investments, Collins recommends regularly investing in low-cost, broadly diversified index funds and leaving them alone for decades. That might sound boring, but boring often wins. History has shown that markets go through ups and downs. There are crashes, recessions, and periods of uncertainty. But over long periods, diversified stock markets have generally grown despite those setbacks. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results, but the book's core message is that patience and discipline have historically been rewarded. The real secret isn't finding the perfect investment. It's continuing to invest even when markets feel scary. That's how compounding works. Your money earns returns, those returns earn returns, and over many years the growth can become surprisingly powerful. Takeaway: investing doesn't have to be exciting. Often, the simplest plan is the one most people can stick with. Book number 2, The Intelligent Investor. If you've ever wondered what Warren Buffett recommends people read, This is one of the books that shaped his investing philosophy. Written by Benjamin Graham, it's considered one of the greatest investing books ever published. The central idea is that successful investing isn't about predicting tomorrow's market. It's about making rational decisions while everyone else is acting emotionally. Graham introduces the idea of Mr. Market, an imaginary business partner who shows up every day offering to buy or sell your investments at different prices. Some days he's optimistic and offers very high prices. Other days he's fearful and offers very low prices. The lesson? You don't have to react to his emotions. Instead of following the crowd, successful investors make decisions based on value, research, and patience. Another key concept is the margin of safety, buying investments at prices that leave room for mistakes or unexpected events, rather than paying any price simply because something is popular. The biggest enemy of an investor usually isn't the market. It's their own emotions. Takeaway: successful investing is often about avoiding bad decisions rather than finding perfect ones. Book number 1, The Psychology of Money. If I could recommend only one book on this list, this would be it. Because before you learn where to invest, you need to understand how you think about money. Morgan Housel explains that financial success has surprisingly little to do with intelligence and a lot to do with behavior. Two people can have the same education, the same income, and the same opportunities, but end up with completely different financial lives. Why? Because one person develops good habits, while the other lets emotions drive every financial decision. One of the most powerful ideas in the book is that wealth is what you don't see. The expensive car, luxury watch, or designer clothes aren't necessarily signs of wealth. Often, true wealth is the money quietly invested and growing in the background. The book also teaches that saving gives you something incredibly valuable: freedom. It gives you options, reduces financial stress, and allows you to make decisions based on what you want, not just what you can afford today. Perhaps the biggest lesson of all is this: you don't need extraordinary investment returns to become wealthy. You need consistent habits, patience, and enough time for compounding to do its work. The people who build lasting wealth usually aren't the ones chasing shortcuts. They're the ones who keep showing up month after month, year after year. Takeaway: the best financial strategy isn't the most complicated one. It's the one you can stick with consistently for decades. Final takeaways. So, what do all 5 of these books have in common? They all teach that building wealth isn't about getting lucky, finding the perfect investment, or earning a huge salary. It's about developing the right habits and sticking to them. Let's quickly recap the biggest lessons. From The Richest Man in Babylon: pay yourself first. Save before you spend. From Rich Dad Poor Dad: focus on buying assets that put money in your pocket, not liabilities that take money out. From The Simple Path to Wealth: keep investing simple. Stay consistent, be patient, and let compound growth do the heavy lifting. From The Intelligent Investor: don't let emotions make your financial decisions. Successful investing requires discipline and a long-term mindset. From The Psychology of Money: your behavior matters more than your income. Small, smart financial decisions repeated over many years create extraordinary results. If you applied just one lesson from each of these books, your financial future could look completely different 10 or 20 years from now. Remember, you don't have to read all 5 this week. Start with just one. Read it, apply what you've learned, and then move on to the next. Knowledge is valuable, but knowledge put into action is what changes lives. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up. It really helps the channel reach more people who want to improve their finances. I'd also love to hear from you in the comments. Which of these books have you already read? And which one are you planning to read first? Or, if there's another personal finance book that changed your life, share it below so we can all learn from each other. And if you're serious about building wealth, saving more, and becoming a smarter investor, make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications. Every week, I share practical, easy-to-understand videos to help you take control of your money and make better financial decisions. Thanks so much for watching. And remember, the best investment you'll ever make isn't in a stock or a property. It's in your own financial education. I'll see you in the next video. Remember, wealth is built through progress. Keep progressing, progressors.